Hi guys, today we are working on Module 7, Lesson 11. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding coins to make a dollar and adding coins to make change from a dollar. So normally when I think of making change, I think of subtracting, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it today. You're going to remember that you need a couple quarters, a couple dimes, a couple nickels, and a couple pennies. Try to have about 8 of each every time we're doing a lesson, just to make sure that you can always use them while adding. So let's get started. I have 35 cents. So if I have 35 cents, I need to be thinking about how much more I need to have 100 cents or $1. Remember that 100 cents is the exact same thing as a dollar. So we're going to be saying $1 sometime. We might write it like this. Or we're going to be saying 100 cents. We're going to be using both of those, so make sure that you know what both of those mean. Okay, so what I said before is we're going to be adding. So let's add to this 35 cents until we get to 100 cents, or $1. So when I think about this, first I'm going to add a nickel. So 35 plus 5 more is 40. Then I can add a dime to make 50. Then I can add 2 quarters to make another 50. And that will give me $1. So I added a nickel to get 40 cents, then a dime to make 50 cents, then 2 quarters to make another 50 cents, because 50 plus 50 is 100, or $1. So I can write a number sentence like this: 35 cents plus blank equals $1. Then I can solve by counting up with coins. Here we can look at that using coins. This is what we started with, 35 plus a nickel is 40, plus 10 more is 50. 50 plus 25 is 75, plus another 25 equals $1. So 35 cents plus 50, 60, 65 cents equals $1. So when we write that in a sentence, you want to be thinking about 35 cents plus what equals 100 cents. And we just said that, right? It's 65 cents. So what we're doing is we're counting up to $1. That is the same thing as 100 cents or just 100. So we're going to be starting with an amount of change today, and we're going to be adding on to it to make 100 cents or make $1. We can also think about this in another way. So if I buy something using $1 in change, I will get change back. If a cashier takes your money and keeps part of it to pay for your things, she gives you the other part that is left over. The leftover money is your change. And now that you know about change, let's solve a problem where we can make change from $1. We're going to do the exact same strategy that we were just using. And this time I want you to be building the amounts with me with your coins and using your paper and pencil to write the equations. You have $1 in change, and the candy you're buying costs 28 cents. So you have $1, and this is how much your candy cost: 25, 26, 27, 28. The cashier says, okay, that's 28 cents, and you hand over your whole dollar in change. I want you to pause right here and write a number sentence to represent the problem. Right now, let's write $1 as either 100 or 100 cents, so that all our units are the same. So please write a number sentence to show this equation. You have $1 and you're buying candy that costs 28 cents. What will your change be? Pause and write a number sentence. You could have written any of these equations. So 100 cents, because that's your dollar, minus 28 equals blank. Or you could have started with 28 cents plus blank equals 100. Or you could have just written 100 minus 28 equals blank. Or 100 cents minus 28 cents equals blank. Any of these ways are great ways to solve this problem. Which of these equations, though, shows addition to find the missing part? Remember, our objective today is that we are going to be adding coins to make $1. So we want to be using addition today. So if we look back at these equations, 28 cents plus blank equals 100. This is the way we're going to focus on solving today. We're always going to start with the part that we know plus a blank. That's going to show the part we don't know. And it's always going to equal $1 today, or 100 cents. So here's a bigger version of this. 28 plus blank equals 100 cents. If you haven't written this yet, please write it now. And then try and solve using the arrow way to count up to $1. So start with 28 and then add on to count up to $1 or 100 cents. Pause now to do that, and then I'll show you how I did that in just a second. Okay, so here we go. I also showed my coins. When you are doing this, you can use your coins too. I think that's a great strategy. If you can do it in your head and you don't need the coins, that's okay, but I like using my coins to double check my work. So I started with 28 cents. I need to get all the way to 100 cents or $1. So the first thing I wanted to do is to get to a multiple of 10 or 5 because I know that those are easier to add on from. So I had 28. I added 2 pennies to get to 30. 28, I drew my little arrow, plus 2, got me to 30. From 30, I'm going to add tens. 30 plus a dime is 40 cents. Plus another dime is 50 cents. And now I know from 50 cents that I can add 25s until I get to $1. 50 plus 25, a quarter, is 75 cents, plus another quarter equals $1. So I counted on by adding pennies, dimes, and quarters to reach 100 cents. Now maybe some of you can do this more quickly in your head and you wrote it like this. 28 plus 2 got you to 30. Then you added 20 or 2 dimes to make 50. Then you added another 50 or 2 quarters to make 100. If you can do this in your head, great. But if you want to use single coins, that's excellent too. Whichever one works best for you. So now we need to think about how much more we needed to add from 28 to make 100 cents. So now we add up what we added on. 25, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72. So we started with 28 cents. We added 72 cents to make $1. So you could have filled into your equation 28 plus 72 cents equals $1. So that's how we're going to be adding on today to make $1 or 100 cents. If you need to go back and rewatch that section and build it again, I would recommend doing that if you're confused at all. We're going to do another one, but it's always good to go back if you're confused. Now let's check this another way by counting up. Start with your 28 cents, and this time let's add dimes and pennies, no quarters. So 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, 78, 88, 98, now let's add our pennies, 99, 100. What do we have now? $1 or 100 cents. So adding on dimes and then pennies was another way that we could have solved this problem. Both ways we added 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72 cents on, but we showed them in different ways. This way we used dimes and pennies. Earlier we used quarters, dimes, and pennies. Let's try another problem, making change from $1. Okay, so I'm holding some coins in my hand. I have 1 dime, 1 nickel, and 2 pennies in my hand. What is the value of my coin? So what is that worth? 1 dime is 10, plus a nickel is 10, and 5 is 15, 16, 17. 1 dime, 1 nickel, and 2 pennies is 17 cents. Now let's make $1. How much more money do we need to make $1? Or another way we could say that is 100 cents. Remember, $1 and 100 cents are the exact same thing. So $1 and 100 cents. Try to think about using part-whole language. Remember, $1 is the whole. So we have 17 cents as one of our parts. What's the other part? We don't know the other part, right? We know that 17 cents is one part, and the other part is unknown. We can always show an unknown number by representing it with a question mark. And we know that the whole is $1. So let's draw a number bond to show this. Get your pencils out, draw the number bond to show this. Remember, $1 is your whole, One part is 17 cents and the other part is unknown. We can use a question mark to show it. Pause and create your number bond now. Here's mine. So I wrote $1 as my whole, 17 cents as one part, and a question mark as the other part because we don't know that part yet. We agree that $1 is the whole and one part is 17. Now we can use that number bond to solve. Think of my equation like this. The part I know I put first in the equation, plus blank equals 100. This is the part I know. This is the part I need to figure out. I'm going to add on change to figure out what that's going to be. And my goal is to reach 100 cents. So before we go to the next part, I actually want you to stop and try and solve this using the arrow way to get to 100 cents. So think about what you would add on from 17 cents to get to 100. What coins? You can use your coins in front of you to help you do this, but I want you to be writing it down the arrow way with your pencil and paper. Pause now to solve. Then you can look at how I solved. Okay, so here's how I solved. Remember, I like to get to a multiple of 10 first. So 17 in my head, then 18, 19, 20. So I added 3 pennies to get to 20 cents. Then 20 was really close to a quarter, so I needed 5 more cents to make 25 cents. 25 plus 5 more makes, 20 plus 5 more, or 1 nickel, equals 25. I wanted to get to 25 because then I knew I could just easily add quarters to get to 100 cents. So 25, 50, 75, $1. So 17 cents plus 3 quarters, 1 nickel, and 3 dimes gave me 100 cents, or $1. Now we have to add this up to figure out how much these coins are worth. So 17 plus, let's see, 25, 50, 75. 75 plus 5 is 80, 81, 82, 83. 17 plus these coins right here, right? So we're adding these total. 17 plus 83 equals 100, or $1. So 17 plus 83 equals 100. You can also think about this as 100 cents, or 100 cents minus 17 cents will give me 83 cents. Because remember that candy, I had 17 cents in my hand. We wanted to figure out how much more we needed to make the dollar, and that would be 83 cents. We can also think about this in the opposite way. If you had $1 and you wanted to buy something that cost 83 cents, how much change would you receive? Think about that part whole language. If you had 83 cents, how much would the other part be? That's right, it would be 17 cents. Now with your coins, how can you make 17 cents? Build it. Pause and build it now. Press play when you're ready to move on. Yeah, you should have used, or you could have used, a dime, a nickel, and 2 pennies to make 17 cents. There's other ways you could have built that too, but that's just one way. So today you're going to be solving problems just like that. There's a couple things I want you to remember. We're always going to start with this type of language. Use the part you know plus the unknown, the question mark, will give you $1, or you could also say, or 100, oops, oh my gosh, or 100. $1 and 100 are the same. So if you have an equation like 100 minus 25, I would rewrite that because it's equal to 25 plus blank equals 100. So if you get confused when you see problems like this on your problem set and exit ticket, come back to this part of the video and look at this slide. Pause here. How can you rewrite the problem so that you're starting with the part you know, we're adding on to get to 100? So blank plus 25 equals 100 is the same thing as saying 25 plus blank equals 100. You're always going to put the part that we know first today and then add on to get to 100. You can also use number bonds to help you figure out which part you know and which part you're trying to solve for. Lastly, always remember that $1 equals 100 cents. So your problem set looks like this today. You can use the arrow way to add on to make $1. And this part you're going to be using number bonds, and then try and use number bonds and solve the exact same way here. Good luck!